I dreamt of piloting since I was in my teens. But when they drew my number, I got stuck in the Marines.
Bad eyesight.
The infantry was miserable. I'd fantasize instead. I'd go inside my head, up in the sky. After I got back to the States, I knew I had to find some other way to fly. I told every girl who would listen about this obsession of mine. Most of them got scared and ran off, but I still remember when I broke the news to Helen, she just said to me,
"Okay, let's do it."
And from that moment, I have never felt a doubt.
My mother didn't like him,
but we learned to tune her out.
I like that he could offer me a different point of view.
And I could use a crew up in the sky. I'm sure I'll be some indescribable allure, and it's tantalizing me. There's quite a few requirements that still aren't met. Still my mind is set up in the sky.
After the wedding, I signed him up for flight school.
But the FAA wanted a medical certificate, and the doctor told me my vision still wasn't good enough. The DMV didn't seem to mind, though, so I started driving trucks. And then early one morning, about a year later, I'm hauling up the I-5 to Sacramento, and the radio says there's a crazy man walking on the wire between the Twin Towers. And once I heard it, I was too entranced to drive. Pulled off and found a diner, 'cause I had to see it live. But watching with the waitresses, I couldn't find the words. A man among the birds up in the sky.
He drove straight home and woke me up to tell me about it.
The walk was a sign. I wasn't just gonna sit around and wait for the FAA to change their minds. I was going up on my own terms. I drew up plans in just a couple afternoons. Went out and got a lawn chair, plus the 42 balloons.
I made him buy a parachute.
I didn't have much space.
He took it just in case. Up in the sky, it's time to go. Don't know how high this thing can climb, but tomorrow we should know. 'Cause everything we've dreamed about is in this chair. Now we're almost there.
Up in the sky.
And then the morning comes. We're standing in the backyard with my mother, who still didn't like him, and he tells me, "Helen, untie the ropes!"
Then I'm going up
2,000 feet.
I'm going up to the sky.
3,000 feet.
I'm floating up
6,000 feet.
And I see the world from the sky.
8,000 feet.
And I'm barely breathing
At 11,000 feet.
And I give myself to the
16,000 feet.
I can't hear a sound. With the sky all around me, I still see the ground. But a new world has found me now. But then, after sitting there for God knows how long, I realized that I'm starting to lose altitude. The helium is leaking out of the balloons. I'm falling fast, so I slash the water gallons. I'm drawn back to 12,000, then 10, then 8. Pretty soon I'm scraping across some guy's roof and holding on for dear life. The balloons get tangled up in some power lines, and that's how I make my return to Earth. hanging in the chair 8 feet above the ground.
They had to shut down the electricity for 4 blocks.
And the police came.
The officer looked at my license, sat and stared at me a while, and told me I was free to go. He couldn't think of what to charge me with.
Up in the sky went that day. It was a milestone ascent they can never take away. You tried to live your fantasy and saw it through. Ever since you flew, nothing that you do replicates that view.
Up in the sky